Hello, everyone. I'm back, the Northwoods Fairy, to read you another book. This one is another children's book or teenager book. I used to read these when I was younger. I got it from Goodwill. This, however, is the 2000 series of Goosebumps by R.L. Stine. I never read the 2000 series, so I don't know how they are. This one is Are You Terrified Yet? And it's called Along Came a Spider. It is number 9 in the Goosebumps 2000 series. So let's begin. These were made in, this one was first printed in 1998. Close to 2000s, I guess. So, Chapter 1. Let out a scream. I let out a scream as the huge insect scraped the back of my neck. I could feel its pincers prickle my skin. My hand shot up to my neck. I grabbed the bug. Whoa! I nearly toppled off my bike. I braked hard, caught my balance, and stared down at the brown leaf crinkled in my hand. A leaf? A dead leaf? Not a huge, disgusting insect? Oh, wow. With a groan, I crumpled the leaf and tossed it to the street. Craig, remember your promise, I scolded myself. You're starting a new school and a new life. You never heard the word wimp before. You never heard the name Vrady Cat. That's all in the past, I remind myself. You left those names behind at your old school. Starting today, you're going to be brave, Craig. You're going to be fearless. You're going to be a superhero. My bike tire crunched over the brown leaf as I shifted gears and started pedaling again. I shook my head. Craig, how will you ever be a superhero if you scream because of a leaf scrapes your neck? Well, it was a pretty big leaf, I told myself. Do you ever have conversations with yourself on the way to school in the morning? Do you ever talk to yourself about what you plan to do and not to do? Well, I do. My name is Craig Morgenstern. I turned 12 a few weeks ago. My family moved to Middle Valley, a little town in Ohio that you've probably never heard of. It's not in the middle of anything, and it doesn't even have a valley. But Middle Valley means a lot to me. It means I can start a whole new life. You know, because what the kids at my old school called me, Craig. And that's because I stammer when I'm frightened. And since I'm frightened all the time, I stammer a lot. Craig. They thought that was so funny. But every time someone called me that, I just wanted to sink into the ground and disappear forever. Some people are braver than others, and just about everyone is braver than me. Maybe it's because most kids my age are bigger than me. I'm short and very skinny. I have crazy brown hair that refuses to stay down. Most of the time my hair looks as if it's standing straight up in fright. Kids at my old school loved to make me scream. They would jump out at me from their lockers and sneak up behind me and pinch me, or drop bugs and worms and things down my back. I won't even tell you what they did to me last Halloween. I start to shake just thinking about it. But that's old news. No way anyone at Middle Valley Middle School will ever call me Craig, because I'm the new me. Of course I felt nervous starting a new school. My hands were cold and sweaty on the handlebars of my bike. My leg muscles kept cramping up as I pedaled downhill. But nervous is normal, right? Nervous isn't the same as scared. The morning breeze felt cool on my hot cheeks. The sun was still a red ball, flowing lower over the rooftops. The leaves shimmering on the trees were bright with shades of red and yellow. Fall had started early this year. Chapter 2. I froze in panic, but the baby's scream forced me to move. My arms and legs all kicked out at once, like a bug on its back. I shoved the bike off me and jumped to my feet. The blue car rolled faster. It looked like a roller coaster car zooming down a track. Hunched in the middle of the street, I blinked once, twice, trying to make a driver appear behind the wheel. But no driver. And the car rolled toward me, a few feet away. The baby howling in terror, I heard another cry and raised my eyes to the top of the hill. My baby, my baby. A red-haired woman came running frantically down the hill, both arms churning the air, her yellow jacket flying behind her like a cape. I sucked in a deep breath and moved to the driver's side. Here it comes, I didn't think. No time to make a plan. I readied myself, tightened every muscle, timed it. As the car rolled past, I grabbed for the door handle and missed. Oh no. A cry escaped my throat as my hand hit the door. I made a wild leap, hit the side of the car, and bounced off. I landed on my knees on the side of the street. No, I heard others screaming now, and glimpsed the red-haired woman, her hands pumping. Her hands screamed like a chant, my baby, my baby. I turned to see the car rolling faster now, rocketing down the hill to an intersection. I saw a red traffic light, kids crossing the intersection. The intersection was crowded with kids. Craig, get moving, I ordered myself. Save that baby. I forced my legs to run, stumbling, staggering. I chased after the car. Off balance, my head spinning, the baby's shrill wails ringing in my ears. I caught up with the car. Ran alongside it, reached out, both hands stretched for the door handle. No, I can't reach it. I can't catch it. I can't. Down below, I saw kids crossing the street. Look out, I screamed to them. Inside the car, I saw tiny pink hands waving wildly in the back seat. I struggled to run faster. I reached out, missed again. Chapter 3. Then I grabbed it. My hand tightened around the handle. Running as fast as I could to keep up with the car, I pulled open the car door. I leapt headfirst into the front seat. The baby wailed and thrashed its little arms. It squirmed and struggled in its car seat. I pushed myself up, gasping. I lowered my foot. It bumped the brake pedal. I raised my foot and slammed it down hard. The car lurched, rocked to a stop. I bounced forward. My head hit the windshield. Oh! Pain shot down my body. I shut my eyes. The hard jolt of the car made the baby stop crying. Outside I could hear kids shouting loud cries of surprise and alarm. I did it, I realized. I stopped the car in time. I could feel the blood pulsing at my temples. I felt so dizzy, I couldn't hold my head up. Everything went bright red. The red faded to a white, a throbbing white light. I think I started to faint, but the mother's shout snapped me awake. My baby, my baby. The door flew open. The red-haired woman leaned into the car. She unfastened the baby and lifted it in her arms. I sat behind the wheel, still grasping for breath. My whole body started to quake and shake. Did I really do that? I asked myself. I climbed dizzily out of the car. I rubbed my forehead, and it still ached from bumping the windshield. The kids surrounded the car, all talking at once, all staring at me. Hugging her baby tight, the woman came hurrying over to me. "That's the bravest thing I've ever saw," she declared. She hugged me with her free hand. "You are a hero." I could feel my face growing hot, and I knew I was blushing. Me? A hero? Some kids started to cheer. Some slapped me on the back. The woman had tears running down her face. "I got out of the car to mail a letter," she explained. "I didn't see the car rolling downhill. It could have been a tragedy." "Yeah, I guess," I murmured. I didn't know what to say. I think I was in shock. My head was spinning. I couldn't feel my feet touching the ground. I was numb. The woman shifted the baby to her other arm. Then she turned to the crowd. "Did you see what this boy did? He jumped off his bike and threw his body against the car to stop it." Well, that wasn't exactly right. Not exactly the way it happened. But with everyone staring and clapping and talking, I didn't feel like arguing. "He was nearly killed," the woman exclaimed, wiping away tears. "But he risked his life to save my baby and all the kids in the street. I never saw anything so brave." Another loud cheer rose up. I jammed my hands into my jean pockets, trying to stop from shaking. I didn't feel brave. I didn't feel like a hero. I knew that my big rescue was pretty much an accident. I mean, I didn't jump off my bike. I fell. And then, when I saw the car coming at me, I didn't know what I was doing. As the crowd cheered and congratulated me, I felt like confessing. It was all just an accident. I'm not really brave, but I kept my mouth shut. I forced a modest smile. "This is your big chance, Craig," I told myself. "This is a lucky moment for you. This is your chance to make sure that no one ever calls you Craig again." The woman hugged me again. She leaned into the car and started to strap in the baby. Someone tapped me on the shoulder. I spun around. I stared at a girl with black curly hair and round black eyes. "Are you the new kid in the 6th grade?" she asked. She had a smooth, low voice, a grown-up's voice. "I heard there was a new kid in our class this year." She wore a black vest with over a white top, a short black skirt over black tights. I nodded, I guess. If only I could get my heart to stop racing and my legs to stop trembling. "I'm in your class," she announced. "I'm Amy Suskind." She introduced me to the two guys with her, Travis Walker and Brad Caperton. "They're in our class too," Amy said. "I'm Craig Morgenstern," I told them, my voice still breathless and shaky. Travis and Brad gazed at me suspiciously. They were both tall and lean. Brad had short, spiky, dark hair. He wore a black denim jacket, a blue t-shirt, and faded jeans, torn at both knees. Travis had freckles on his nose and cheeks. He had intense green eyes. He wore a Cleveland Indians cap pulled down over his forehead. A tiny silver ring gleamed in one earlobe. Amy's round dark eyes peered into mine. "Craig, are you always this brave?" she asked. Yeah, I guess so," I replied. Brad narrowed his eyes at me. His lips formed a sneer. "You mean you do stuff like this all the time?" I cleared my throat. "Well, yeah," I said. "I try to. It keeps me from getting bored." What am I saying? I asked myself. Why am I acting like such a jerk? I guess I wanted to take advantage of this lucky accident. No more Craig. No, not ever again. Little did I know how much total terror my bragging would bring me. Little did I know that my words would lead me into a coffin. Chapter 4. A locker door slammed behind me. I jumped a mile. I instantly spun around to check if anyone had seen me jump. It was the second day of school, and I was enjoying my new role as hero. Kids I didn't know waved and nodded to me in the hall. In the lunchroom on Monday, I heard a table full of really cute girls talking about me. They kept glancing over to my table and smiling. Even some of the teachers flashed me a thumbs up as I passed them in the halls. Craig, this is excellent, I told myself. I think I'm going to like it here. I caught myself strutting to class. I had to remind myself not to get too carried away. Deep down inside, you're still Craig, I told myself. Amy and Travis came around the corner, bumping each other playfully, trying to slam one another into the wall. Everyone is still talking about what you did yesterday, Amy said, giving Travis a hard bump that sent him flying. Oh, that was nothing, I bragged. Really, what's the big deal? She laughed, tossing her black curls. Her dark eyes flashed. I could see how much she admired me. I could see she looked up to me, even though she was 6 inches taller. She thinks you're great, Craig, I told myself. Don't blow it. Travis straightened his backpack on his shoulders. You want to do something brave, he asked. Well, I hesitated. Travis motioned across the hall. Help Brad beat up his big brother. Amy and I followed Travis's gaze across the hall. A big, athletic-looking guy was shoving Brad into an open locker. Brad was struggling and squirming, but the big guy was too strong for him. That's Brad's brother, I murmured. He looks really tough, I thought. Sometimes I'm glad I'm only a child. That's Grant, Amy said in a whisper. He thinks he's in 9th grade. He can push Brad around. Travis explained, frowning. I shuddered as Grant shoved Brad all the way into the locker and slammed the door, a big grin on his face. Grant turned and stomped away. The floor seemed to shake under his heavy footsteps. I turned around and Amy and Travis both staring at me. Brad just has to stand up to his brother, I said. How lame can you get? Brad shouldn't let himself be pushed around, I added. I know I never would. Why did I say that? Why am I acting like such a big shot? The three of us hurried across the hall. Travis pulled open the locker and we tugged Brad out. He appeared dazed. He shook himself like a dog trying to get dry and blinked several times. Craig says you have to stand up to your brother, Amy reported. Excuse me? Brad turned to me. You want to help me stand up to him? Well, I swallowed my bubble gum. Careful, Craig, I warned myself. They already think you're brave. You don't have to prove it again. How wrong can a person be? I was walking home after school, humming to myself, feeling good. The red and yellow leaves shimmered in a warm breeze, warm as spring. The sun beamed down in a clear blue sky. I started up the steep hill. I had just passed the corner where my daring rescue had taken place when I heard an urgent call. Craig, hey, stop, Craig. I turned and saw Amy running alongside walk, her backpack bouncing wildly on her shoulders. Craig, help, help. What's up, I asked, trying to sound casual. Quick, over here. She grabbed my arm and tugged me around the corner. Hurry. What's up, I repeated. I had a sinking feeling in my stomach. Why did Amy look so upset? What was so urgent? Across the street, I spotted a girl about 6 or 7 standing up under a tall tree. I saw a lunchbox and a red jacket on the ground beside her. She stared up into the tree, pointing furiously and shaking her head. Hurry, Amy repeated, tugging me across the street. As we came nearer, I could hear the girl crying. What's the problem? I asked breathlessly, sobbing hard. The girl pointed up to a high branch. My brother, she choked out between sobs. He's up there, Amy told me. Excuse me? I started to back away, but Amy blocked my path. Her little brother climbed up the tree, and now he can't get down, Amy explained. Too bad, I murmured. I gazed up into the tree, up into the leafy branches. I could see legs and 2 sneakers dangling from a high limb. What are we going to do? The girl wailed. Get me down, a high voice called from up in the tree. Amy placed a comforting hand on the girl's trembling shoulder. Don't worry, she said. We have a superhero right here. Huh? Me? I thought. That sinking feeling in my stomach became a hard, tight knot. I suddenly felt really sick. No problem, Amy told the girl. Craig will climb up and bring your brother down in seconds. Craig is so brave, he does this kind of thing all the time. Oh, wow, I murmured. I gazed up at the dangling sneakers. How did the kid climb so high? My stomach churned. I'm totally afraid of heights. I mean, I get nauseous on escalators. Amy gave me a shove toward the tree. Go ahead, Craig, hurry. Bring the poor kid down, she urged. I could feel cold sweat rolling down my forehead. I wiped my clammy hands on the legs of my khakis. Stop crying, Amy told the girl softly. Craig will take care of everything. Right, Craig? Tell her. Right, I choked out. My voice cracked on the word. I stared up at the dangling sneakers. Get me down, said the little boy. Amy and the girl were both watching me. I wiped off my cold, sweaty hands again and stared up at the high tree limb. I can't do this, I realized. I've never climbed a tree in my life. No way I can get up there, and if I do get up there, no way I can bring the kid down. I'll fall and break every bone in my skinny, cowardly body. What can I do? What? Chapter 5. I glanced back and saw kids running from all directions. A crowd gathered around the tree. Is the boy okay? How did he get up there? Is he stuck up there? Alarmed voices all around. It's okay, no problem, Amy assured everyone loudly. Craig is going to bring him down. I swallowed hard. Everyone turned to stare at me. Craig, you have no choice now, I told myself. You have to go up and rescue that kid. If you don't, you'll be called Craig at the Middle Valley Middle School for the rest of your days. I swallowed again. My legs were shaking so hard I thought my pants would fall down. I hoped Amy could see the terrified expression on my face. I wrapped my arms around the tree trunk. Ow. The jagged bark scraped my hands. I can't do this, I realized. Help me, I'm so scared. The little boy called down. Please help me. The branch, it's breaking. Behind me, the kids gasped and screamed. Over the sound of their screams, I heard a loud crack. My whole body shuddered. Hurry, Amy cried. The tree is breaking. The little boy wailed. Another crack made everyone grasp and cry out again. I wiped my sweating hands. Hold on tight up there, I boomed, trying to sound brave. I'm coming up. Hurry, hurry, kids were shrieking. Another crack, like Valero tearing. I grabbed the trunk again and lifted my feet off the ground. Slowly, carefully, I hoisted myself onto the lowest limb, only a few feet off the ground. Whew, so far so good. Why didn't the kids stop here? I wondered. I swung myself up. My hands were so wet, they nearly slid off the branch. I grabbed for the next limb, and I got a mouthful of leaves. Yuck. Help me. The boys' cries were still above me. Help, I can't hold on any longer. It's breaking. I'm coming, I choked out. I hoisted myself onto the next limb, then I forced my legs to stop shaking and stood up. Hugging the tree tight, I worked my way around to the back of the tree. I found a limb a few feet above my head, grabbed it, pulled myself up. Yes, hurry, oh hurry. The frightened boy sounded a little closer. I'm almost there, I called up to him. I can't hold on, I can't. Taking a deep breath, I pulled myself higher. I could see his sneakers clearly now, dangling his legs, kicking just a few branches above me. I'm coming. Hold on, I gasped. I hoisted myself higher, until I reached the limb where he sat. He turned to me, his round little face red as a tomato, glistening with tears, his blonde hair standing up in wild tufts, his t-shirt dirty and ripped at one shoulder. Hold on, I uttered. I'm here, just hold on. Slowly, I worked my way out on the limb. Farther, almost there, almost. I reached out both hands to grab him. I've got you, I whispered. My hands were inches away from him when he fell. I watched his hands fly up as he slipped off the branch. No! A scream of horror burst from my throat. I cut it short when I realized the kid didn't fall. He grabbed another limb, grabbed it, and dove to the trunk. Then as I gaped in shock, he slid easily down the trunk to the ground. He landed softly on his feet, peering down through the leaves. I saw his sister wrapping him in a hug. Loud cries and cheers rang out. Then over the ringing cheers I heard a terrifying sound. Another crack. So close now. Another crack right under me. It took less than a second. I heard the crack. Then I felt a rush of air as I started to fall. Hey, I let out a cry and shot up both hands, grabbed for the limb above me. My hands wrapped around it. No, I missed the limb. My hands wrapped around a bird's nest. I glimpsed the nest. I heard myself scream, a high, long scream, and then I hit the ground hard. I think I landed on my stomach. I'm really not sure. I remember the thud, the pain, and the blackness. I guess I had the wind knocked out of me. When I opened my eyes, I found myself on my side, staring at the grass. The ground appeared to tilt, first one way, then the other. I held on. What was I holding? I struggled to focus. I was still holding on to the empty bird's nest. I blinked several times. The ground finally stopped tilting. I uttered a long sigh. Craig, you didn't save the kid, I told myself. He saved himself. And now Amy knows what a total klutz you are. Amy and everyone else. Still on the ground, I glanced up. I saw the girl walking off with her brother. He was laughing. She held his hand tightly. I heard voices, excited voices, all talking at once. And over them I heard Amy. Craig is unbelievable. Did I hear right? What was she saying? I pulled myself up with a groan and tried to listen. Isn't Craig awesome? Amy exclaimed. First he showed that little boy how to slide down. Then, when the tree branch broke off, he rescued the bird's nest. Huh? I muttered, still groggy. What did I do? Craig didn't even think of his own safety, Amy declared. He only thought of rescuing the nest. That's not quite the way it happened, I thought, but before I could protest, kids were pulling me to my feet, slapping me on the back, congratulating me, clapping and cheering. Bravest thing I ever saw, a woman told a gray, uniformed mail carrier. He nodded. Someone should tell the mayor. That boy ought to get an award. He risked his life to save a bird's nest. Wow, the woman said. More cheers, more slaps on the back, more high fives. Amy gazed down at me with that glowing, admiring look in her eyes. Awesome, she murmured. Awesome. And then a boy's voice rang out. Hey, wait. I turned and saw Travis and Brad pushing through the surprised crowd. What is your problem? Craig isn't brave, Travis declared. Brad sneered. He's a total phony. Amy and the other kids gasped. I'm caught. I realized they caught me. They found out. I'm Craig again. My life is ruined. Chapter 7. I took a step back. I suddenly wanted to back up in the tree, far, far away. What are you saying? Amy demanded, angrily pressing her hands to her waist. He wasn't being brave, Travis repeated. I think he fell out of that tree. For sure, Brad agreed. I saw the whole thing. But, Amy sputtered. If he was being brave, why did he scream like that? Brad demanded. Yeah, Travis agreed. He screamed all the way down. He fell out of a tree, and you act as if he's some kind of hero. All three of them turned to me as if they expected me to settle the argument for them. Craig, are you brave or not? Not. I just shrugged. Whatever. I murmured, what I did up there, it was no big deal. Right. It was no big deal, Travis accused. You fell out of a tree. That's all you did. You're just jealous, Amy sneered at Travis and Brad. Both of you. You two got all the attention before Craig arrived. Travis and Brad pushed her out of the way and stepped up to me. They narrowed their eyes menacingly. A staring contest. I never win staring contests. I always blink. You really think you're so brave? Travis challenged me. Me? I choked out. No way. I wasn't going to get into a fight over this. For one thing, I'd lose. I can't fight. Also, I knew the truth about myself. After all, a person doesn't get called Craig for this whole thing, or for his whole life without earning it. But Amy stepped back up to Travis and Brad. Craig is braver than the two of you put together, she declared, her dark eyes flashing angrily, and Craig can prove it. Huh? Again? Go ahead, Amy cried. Think of a challenge. Try to scare him. No, wait, I started, but no one seemed to hear me. Craig will do anything you want him to do, Amy declared. I grabbed for her shoulder. I tried to stop her. Too late. Go ahead, she insisted. Think of any challenge. Craig will prove that he isn't afraid of anything. A thin smile spread over Travis's lips. His freckles appeared to twinkle. Want to put some money on that? He asked slyly. No, please, I begged. We'll bet you, Amy answered without giving me a chance to say no. We'll bet any amount of money that you can't frighten Craig, no matter what you try. Travis and Brad exchanged glances. Both of them were smiling now. Okay, Travis said. It's a bet. We'll be back. They hurried away laughing and talking excitedly. Amy turned to me. Easy money, right? Right. And I'm going to stop at chapter 8. I hope that was relaxing for you and also nostalgic, maybe. If you used to read Goosebumps, or if you've never read it before, heard it before, it gets better because we're not even halfway through. So, I hope you all have a good night's sleep, a good nap, or just feel pretty relaxed. Part 2 will be coming soon.